Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Shravanam Diaries Podcast.
Continuing to read Bhagavad Gita as it is, the book by His Divine Grace Abhayacharana Ravinda, Bhakti Vedanta Swami Prabhupada, Chapter 7, Knowledge of the Absolute, Text 18. Udara sarva evaite jnani tvatmaiva me matam asthita sahi yuktatma mam evanutamam gatim. All these devotees are undoubtedly magnanimous souls, but he who is situated in knowledge of me, I consider to be just like my own self. Being engaged in my transcendental service, he is sure to attain me, the highest and most perfect goal. Wow. Purport. It is not that devotees who are less complete in knowledge are not dear to the Lord. The Lord says that all are magnanimous because anyone who comes to the Lord for any purpose is called a Mahatma or great soul. The devotees who want some benefit out of devotional service are accepted by the Lord because there is an exchange of affection. Out of affection they ask the Lord for some material benefit, and when they get it, they become so satisfied that they also advance in devotional service. But the devotee in full knowledge is considered to be very dear to the Lord, because his only purpose is to serve the Supreme Lord with love and devotion. Such a devotee cannot live a second without contacting or serving the Supreme Lord. Similarly, the Supreme Lord is very fond of his devotee and cannot be separated from him. In the Srimad Bhagavatam 9.4.68, the Lord says, Sadhavo hridayam mahyam sadhunam hridayam tvaham madanyate na janati naham tebhyo manag api. Quote, the devotees are always in my heart, and I am always in the hearts of the devotees. The devotee does not know anything beyond me, and I also cannot forget the devotee. There is a very intimate relationship between me and the pure devotees. Pure devotees in full knowledge are never out of spiritual touch, and therefore they are very much dear to me. Wow, this is so beautiful. It's a very famous verse actually, but reading this translation right now, it's like the best. Pure devotees in full knowledge are never out of spiritual touch with the Lord. Therefore, they're very much dear to Him. Text 19. Bahunam janmanam ante jnanavan mam prapadyante vasudeva sarvam iti samahatma sudurlabha. After many births and deaths, he who is actually in knowledge surrenders unto me, knowing me to be the cause of all causes and all that is. Such a great soul is very rare. Purport. The living entity, while executing devotional service or transcendental rituals after many, many births, may actually become situated in transcendental, pure knowledge that the Supreme Personality of Godhead is the ultimate goal of spiritual realization. In the beginning of spiritual realization, while one is trying to give up one's attachment to materialism, there is some leaning toward impersonalism. But when one is further advanced, he can understand that there are activities in the spiritual life, and that these activities constitute devotional service. Realizing this, he becomes attached to the Supreme Personality of Godhead and surrenders to Him. At such a time, one can understand that Lord Shri Krishna's mercy is everything, that He is the cause of all causes, and that this material manifestation is not independent from Him. He realizes the material world to be a perverted reflection of spiritual variegatedness, and realizes that in everything there is a relationship with the Supreme Lord Krishna. Thus, he thinks of everything in relation to Vasudeva or Shri Krishna. Such a universal vision of Vasudeva precipitates one's full surrender to the Supreme Lord Shri Krishna as the highest goal. Such surrendered, great souls are very rare. This verse is very nicely explained in the 3rd chapter, verses 14 and 15 of the Shvetashvatara Upanishad. Sahasra Shirsha Purushaha Sahasraksha Sahasrapat Sa Bhumim Vishvato Vritva Tyatishta Dashangulam Purusha Evedam Sarvam Yadbhutam Yadcha Bhavyam Uttamrittatvasyeşano Yadannena Tirohati. In the Chandogya Upanishad 5.1.15, it is said, Navaivacho na chakshumshi na shrotram na manam siti achakshane prana iti eva chakshate prano hyevaitani sarvani bhavanti. Quote, in the body of a living being, neither the power to speak, nor the power to see, nor the power to hear, nor the power to think is the prime factor. It is life, which is the center of all activities. Unquote. Similarly, Lord Vasudeva, or the personality of Godhead, Lord Shri Krishna, is the prime entity in everything. In this body there are powers of speaking, of seeing, of hearing, of mental activities, etc. But these are not important if not related to the Supreme Lord. And because Vasudeva is all-pervading and everything is Vasudeva, the devotee surrenders in full knowledge. Bhagavad Gita 7.17 and 11.40. Jai. This reminded me of the Chatushloki. aham evasam evagre. It starts with that basically understanding that Krishna is everywhere, meaning everything is in Krishna. Nothing is separate from Krishna. That's like seeing things as they are. Yeah. Let's read this again. He realizes the material world to be a perverted reflection of spiritual variegatedness, and realizes that in everything there is a relationship with the Supreme Lord Krishna. And just before that, the devotees are always in my heart, and I'm always in the hearts of the devotees. The devotee does not know anything beyond me, and I also cannot forget the devotee. There is a very intimate relationship between me and the pure devotees. Pure devotee in full knowledge, full knowledge, are never out of spiritual touch, and therefore they're very much dear to me. Jai. Thank you so much for tuning in today. The book links, previous episodes timeline, and biography of the author can be found on shravanamdiaries.com. The link is in the description, and we shall see you tomorrow. Hare Krishna, Hare